Hey guys, it's Byron here and welcome to Byron's Reviews. Today we are going to be reviewing the movie Mega Shark vs Giant Octopus, which is a monster film made by the Asylum. And first of all, I just want to make something very clear. If you're going into watching this film, you really need to know what kind of film it is. It's a film called Mega Shark vs Giant Octopus, which is one of the most hilarious and bizarre names for a film I've heard in my life. So from there you can probably guess that you're not going to get something really artistic and meaningful with this. But what you are going to get is a very fun, over-the-top, low-budget B-movie. And sure, that may come with some slightly below average production value. But really, I'm not going to be talking about that in this review, so I'm going to be leaving out things like the repeated CGI shots, which there are a lot of, but I'm going to be looking at this film for what it is. So as you'd expect, Mega Shark vs Giant Octopus has some very over the top and memorable moments. My favourite being Mega Shark jumping out of the water, gliding God knows how many meters up into the sky, and taking out a plane and dragging it back down into the water. And there are moments in this film like that which are just hilarious and they stick with you just as being so funny. But I do have to say that moments like that are few and far in between, because there aren't many of them, and most of them that there are already shown in the trailer, to be honest. And they're woven into a story which, to be honest, is very slow paced. And you kind of just spend a lot of the time waiting for more of these moments to happen. And while I do think that this is a film that really is defined just by a few moments in it, and that it isn't as fast paced as other B-movies of its kind, I do think that it can be great escapism, its story and all, if you're in the mood. Because honestly, if you just want a film where you can just turn off your mind and just relax with, I think that this is a great film. Sure, it's going to be generic, cliche and very simple, but when you're in that kind of mood, this is the kind of film I, for one, want. And I do think that the characters in it are actually very likeable, despite how simple they are. And these characters are Emma McNeil, played by Debbie Gibson, as well as Seiji Shimada and Lamar Sanders. And I think that these three do form a really nice team, and I think they have a really nice relationship with each other. And as far as B-movies go, I actually think that their acting's pretty good. I actually really did enjoy them in this movie. And honestly, I would take Mega Shark vs Giant Octopus over most other big budget monster or disaster movies. Why? Because unlike those films that in my opinion take themselves way too seriously a lot of the time, this film knows what it is, which is a low budget monster movie. And it runs with that, and because of that it just has so much charm. Like, just little details, like when the ship or submarine gets hit by one of the monsters, them shaking the camera with the actors stood there shaking. Just things like that just ooze charm, and it just gives you a good feeling inside. And other things that also have charm in this film include these science montages that they have, where they're mixing together all these different chemicals to try and find, basically I think they're trying to create some pheromones for attracting the monsters. And you know when they've succeeded, because they create this really exaggerated bright green liquid, and things like that are just really, really likeable, I think. Another thing I like about this film is the soundtrack, composed by Chris Ridenhour. And if you've seen my American Warships review, you'll know that I really like Chris Ridenhour's music. I like this soundtrack so much that I actually got it on CD. And it just is really good, especially for a low budget film like this. And a lot of effort clearly went into it, because he used some pieces from classical music. Like, he incorporated some Bach and Beethoven in there. Interestingly, with Beethoven representing the shark and Bach representing the octopus, which is really cool. So to conclude, I would only really recommend this film if you're a fan of B movies and the Asylum. Because honestly, if you're one of these people who gets annoyed when things in films aren't really realistic or accurate, or there are lots of continuity errors, this isn't the kind of film for you. Because the enjoyment with these films doesn't come from the conventional things in films, such as acting, continuity, and all that jazz. It just comes from being a mindless, fun time. So this can be some great escapism, I think. But at the same time, even compared to other B movies, it is very slow paced and may not be the best one to start with if you want to get into B movies because of that. Having said this, Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus was my first B movie I really watched, and it somehow captivated me enough to start collecting and watching a ton more. So I guess it did something right, because even now, when I just want a film to relax with, this seems to be my go-to film, so this film really does have a special place in my heart. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave any thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!